Ticket Sales Coach, and I'm so excited for today's bonus number 2, your questions answered. I'm Sean Q, your high ticket sales coach, and I help you land high paying clients while having fun and making it so simple and so easy so you can get rid of all of the ick, the sleaze, the non-consensual sales tricks of the past. I am so stoked because we have several questions. I don't know if you can actually see it on our TV, but we have several questions that have come up, and I want to answer them. Before we do, I want to congratulate Occam. Way to go. You are part of Clients with Purpose. I want to celebrate Lacey. Way to go. Welcome to Clients with Purpose. And I want to celebrate Natasha. Way to go. Congratulations. Welcome to Clients with Purpose. Okay, so let's go ahead and answer your questions. Before I answer that question, the question that did come up from Paige, I want to share with you this Friday is when we're closing doors. So you want to make sure you get in by Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. At 5:01, prices double, and cart closes until next year. So let's get into these questions. So, okay, here's a really great question from Paige. Do you have a policy? This is what Paige asks. Do you have, hey, hashtag Team Live, so good. Way to show up, hashtag Team Live. Let us know who you are. Okay, do you have a policy or suggestion regarding coaching friends and family? It might be different for life coaches versus business coaches, but I find myself in an interesting spot this week as I have sort of a dual relationship with a colleague who is a client. I have a very strict policy not to enter a coaching relationship with family or longtime friends, as I believe it hinders the honesty aspect. Okay, such a great question. And something else I want to share is if you have a question, I want to answer it. So go ahead and put your question here or in our support thread that we have going on. Okay, so Paige asked this really great question, and it really is a question of boundaries, but also a question of ethics. And here's the thing that is really fundamental to recognize. It really depends on the type of work you're doing. If you're going to choose to work with family, you want to make it abundantly clear right from the get-go what the boundaries of that working relationship are and when you're on work mode and when you're not on work mode. So for example, I have worked with uncles and other people with our marketing agency who have really great businesses, and we've worked with them and we've said, okay, we're going to go into this relationship where we're going to help you market your business. Here are a couple of ground rules to make sure that this doesn't ruin our relationship moving forward, because things can begin to get grayed out. I am on the clock with you from this time to this time on these days. That is when I'll be doing the marketing work for you. Outside of that, we're not going to talk anything business. If we're at a birthday party, you see me, we're not talking business. I'm there to enjoy your relationship and your friendship, and I'm not there to do business. So if we choose to go into a business relationship and it's with family, you want to make it abundantly clear when it's business time and when it's family time. It's going to just solve a lot of communication problems there. The other thing is you want to get very clear. I am not going to give any favor to you because you're a family member. I'm going to treat you exactly how I would treat every other client. If you're one of our top paying clients, I'm going to treat you like a top paying client. And I want to make sure that these boundaries, I'm not going to, oftentimes, especially with family, it's so easy to write this term in the chat below. It's so easy to do what's called, oh man, what's that called? Where people start asking for more and asking for more and asking for more. I don't know what the term is. If you know what the term is, put it in the chat. But it's essentially where, okay, I'm going to pay you for this. And then they're like, hey, can you just do this extra thing or this one more thing? And then they don't pay you for it, right? How many of you scope creep. That's the term, scope creep, where they're adding to the scope of the work that you're doing. And they're creeping in I need you to do this and this and this and this and this and this. So you want to make sure that you have that boundary of, hey, this is the work we're doing. This is the work you're paying for. Anything outside of that is going to be an additional cost. You want to make it very clear. Okay? That's not a bad thing. You're entering a business relationship with a family member, and you want to make sure it's very business oriented. And then on top of it, you want to write this down. Have the hard conversations before you need to have the hard conversations. The worst time to talk about quitting, or the worst time to talk about conflict, is when you're in conflict or when you're thinking about quitting. One of the best times to talk about that is before you're even in that conversation. So one of the things I talk to my staff about, but this can also apply to like a family relationship who's in business with you, is okay, like one of the things I tell my staff is at some point I'm going to annoy you, right? At some point you might annoy me. When that happens, because it's going to happen, we're human, how do you want me to deal with it with you? How do you want me to approach you when there's conflict? Some people like direct, just tell me when it happens. Other people are like, hey, I need you to sandwich it. Like, be kind to me, then tell me what I need to improve, then be kind. So you want to have those conversations before you have the conversation. How do you want me to deal with conflict when that comes up? How do you want me to respond to you? Sometimes family thinks they can be more of a jerk to you because you're family, you're just family, right? So you want to make that super clear, super abundantly clear. So that's the boundary side of it. You want to set all of that up right ahead beforehand, and you want to like do it even more so because it's family. And you want to say like the way that I approach it is I really care about our relationship. And if we choose to do this business work together, I would hate for the business to strain our relationship. So can we set some ground rules so that our relationship, whether we choose to continue working together or not, whether this works out or not, like our relationship, we're still solid. Can we set those ground rules? Great. Okay, so you want to kind of set up that conversation that way. Somebody says golden nugget. The worst time to discuss conflict is when you are in conflict. Yes, so good. And then somebody writes as notes, how do you want me to deal with conflict? Go ahead and show. Yep. How do you want me to deal with conflict? Requires accountability from both partners and sets the tone for safety and the freedom to be honest. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. And then on top of that, with coaching or marketing or whatever service you're providing for family, you want to get set. And this is for anyone really, but very much so for clients. You want to set goals that are going to indicate whether or not you should keep working together. So, all right, let's say it's the marketing service. I'll get to the coaching in a second, but let's say it's a marketing service or copywriting or whatever. You're doing something for family. All right, here are our goals. If we hit these goals, we'll continue working together. If we don't, then we can have a conversation and see whether or not it works. You want to give them safety to fire you. Let me say that again. You want to make it safe for them to say, hey, this isn't working out. And you want to have that conversation beforehand because otherwise it may not be working out. Now there's tension and now they don't know how to deal with that tension and it just boils into the actual relationship. So you want to make sure that you're setting up those parameters and you're making it safe for you to exit and for them to exit the working relationship without it hurting the actual relationship. So key. Okay. Now, as far as the ethics of actual coaching, so I always take the therapist route. Therapists cannot work with family because there's a conflict of interest and it's unethical. My wife is a therapist. She cannot therapize anybody who's related to her. She can't therapize me, right? We can have meaningful conversations. She can add, give advice. She can, kind of have a meaningful conversation and direct a conversation, but she cannot officially therapize anyone or unofficially therapize anyone because that's unethical because there's a conflict of interest. So I take the same approach with things like trauma coaching, life coaching, those types of approaches. I would rather create clear boundaries of like, hey, I'm not a good fit for you, mostly because there's a conflict of interest, but I do know someone who may be a better fit. And then I'd refer them out. So that's my approach, mostly for the safety of the relationship, but also because here's the thing with coaching, specifically life coaching, it is so unregulated, which means we have to create our own regulation until there's regulation to standardize the work that we do. And so I am I follow whenever I do life coaching, I follow the standards and the regulation that's set already legally, at least in the States, for therapy. Because although we don't therapize, we're not therapists, there are some common traits to therapy and coaching. It's not the same work, right? What a therapist does is not what a coach does, and what a coach does is not what therapists do, but it's in the same type of work. And so you want to follow some type of regulation for the safety of your own business. And, that's where you want to standardize that yourself, regulate yourself. Yes. And then you want to create policies, right? Like, you're a business owner. You can create policy. So create a policy. I have a no family policy, right? I don't coach family. Now, we can have a meaningful conversation. That doesn't mean we can't talk about things, but I can't officially enter a coaching relationship with you because I have a policy against that. It protects me. It protects you. I can refer you out, though. And then on top of that, most of the time, people would get, here's my opinion, just take it as you will. Most people will get better results from somebody they're not related to if they're coaching. And I'll give you like a personal example. With me and my wife, I am husband. I am not coach. Right? I am best friend. I am not coach. I have tried to coach my wife, and I can't. I'm incapable of doing it. Has nothing to do with who she is, right? It's just I can't do it because it's difficult for me to function as husband and the coach. Right? Sometimes she doesn't need coach Sean. She needs empathetic Sean. She needs friend Sean. She needs, hey, that sucks, Sean. Right? Like, she just needs that kind of person. So and here's the thing too, my wife can't therapize me. She can't coach me because I need wife. I don't need coach. And so it's really important to really be clear about the roles you play in people's lives and the boundaries you have with people's lives. I have my own therapist. I'm a big believer in therapy. I believe everybody should have a therapist. I have my own therapist. She has her own coach. Now, of course I support her. Of course I answer questions for her, but I can't enter a official relationship, coaching relationship or therapy relationship with her because we've set very clear boundaries. This is the role we play in each other's lives. And this is how I can be the best for that person. She can be the best for me. And I'll also say this. Sometimes, like, you know the answer for your partner or for your family member. You know the answer. But hearing it from you wouldn't do anything. There are times where I'm like at a conference and I'm like, oh my gosh, that speaker just said the best thing in the world. It like changed my life. I go tell my wife and I'm like, babe, like, you won't believe what the speaker said. And she's like, I told you that 3 years ago. And it's like, oh. And it has nothing to do with not listening and everything to do with sometimes you just need to hear it from a different voice. Sometimes you need to hear it in a different way. My wife says the same thing sometimes. Like, she's like, oh my gosh, I heard this podcast and he said this. And I'm like, I said that like last week. And that's okay. We play different roles, and sometimes you need to hear it from other people, and you're going to get just better results in that way. So these are a little bit of some ethical challenges, and I'm very happy to answer these questions. With ethics and with like creating those boundaries, you have to figure out what works for you. What works for me may not be the same thing that works for you, because our ethics may be different. So you want to make sure you have those ethics in place and those policies in place. All right. We have, I think, another comment. Truth. My kids don't listen to a single word I say, but they send all their friends over for advice. 100%. Right? Totally get it. Totally get it. And it has nothing to do with your parenting. It has everything to do with just needing to. Their parents are probably saying the same thing to their kids, but they're hearing it from you. So it's just a different voice. You hear it from different people because the lens by which you're listening to it, with the role that the person is playing, is different. So important, so key. All right. If there are any other questions, go ahead and let me know in the chat. While those questions are coming in, I want to share with you a couple of things about Clients with Purpose. So one really cool thing about Clients with Purpose is you get immediate access as soon as you sign up. So what's going to happen is you're going to see this login space. You're going to log in. So I have a dummy account. So let me go ahead and just log in. And as soon as you log in, let me click that. You're going to see hello and welcome with a big smiley face. And you're going to get access to literally everything here. All right, so let's go ahead and just do a quick walkthrough. So you're going to see a quick 9-minute video that's telling you about how to get started, literally every single step of the way, telling you the whole thing. And then we have some really cool things called the quick wins. Okay, these are things you can do immediately to start experiencing some momentum, start building that excitement going through. Then you're going to see these 7 masteries. So you see leadership, market, offer, prospecting, wow talks, heck yes sales, and onboarding. These are the 7 masteries that we have pre-recorded content on. Now, that does not mean there's no like live training. We do live training all the time, and we break this down and we do the work with you. But at least you have this. So if you are doing it at your own pace, or you're like up at 2 a.m. doing work, you have access to these resources and you get immediate access to all of it. We don't drip feed it. We want you to have access to what you need. Well, I can't tell you how many times people are like, Sean, I need that sales thing. I'm not at that point, but I'm having a call tomorrow. Like, I need to put it together. They can immediately access it. And so let me just break down leadership. This is being a heck yes leader. And we focus on identity, who you believe you are, activity, the behaviors and habits you're building in your life to set yourself up for success, mindset, emotions, right? As an entrepreneur, entrepreneurship business is an emotional experience. So we talk about how do you navigate through your emotions, and relationships. Relationships. Somebody put that in the chat. Relationships. Who you surround yourself with will determine your destiny. And we talk about market, and we have 3 phases of marketing, and specifically understanding your market: exploration, description, and causation. Then we have offer, where you're building your offer, you're testing it, and you're packaging it. We have a couple of intensives we do around this where we actually help support you with it, which is really exciting. And you can see past incentives, so you can see other people's offers and how they built it out, which is really cool. Then prospecting, this is all about marketing. How do you get initiative marketing and attraction marketing? Wow Talks, there are some examples. So for coaches, there are a ton of examples in here. There's a ton of demonstrations. For audits, same thing. We have a ton of methods. The failure method is one of them. There's just so many different really great things in there to give you examples of how to conduct those. Then you have the Heck Yes Sales process, which you saw a little bit on day 3, but we build out the whole system with you. It's literally a full system. Then you see a ton of different sales demonstrations. Here's my favorite part. Okay, one of my favorite parts is the breakdown series. This is literally 7 episodes with real clients where we break down real calls. Okay, they're Wow Talking sales calls, and we tell them what they did right, what they did wrong, how they can improve. You can submit your own sessions, and we'll review them, which is really cool. So this is for season 1 right here. All right, and then we have onboarding. So how do you get people actually onboarded and you show up as a professional? It's all consistent, really cool. And so we have a ton of really great things in there. Then we have Launch in a Box, or what we call Launch Mastery, and that literally gives you everything you need for your launch. Having a 6-figure week, it's pretty insane. Then we have a ton of profit masterclasses from experts who have taught on a million things, which is really cool. Then you get access to all the replays. You get access to the One Client Away Challenge, which we're deleting on Friday from the public, but you'll still have access to it. And then all of our coaching replays, which literally are so powerful. So that's literally everything you get. Immediate access to. On top of that, you get 3 coaching calls. I literally just did a coaching call this morning with our team and literally showed them 20-minute strategy to totally killing it online. Literally, we had people on the call getting into conversations with potential clients because we're doing the work together. It's been pretty phenomenal. And so that's the whole process. I'm super stoked. It's pretty awesome. So I want to congratulate again Natasha, Occam, and Lacey for joining. There's still time. So you can join by Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific time, and you can continue to take action. And I'd love to continue supporting you. So where will you be a year from now if you consistently took the right action over and over and over and over, and you got results? You got into the right conversations. You attracted the right people. So exciting. I'm Sean Q, your high-ticket sales coach, and you have until Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific time to sign up. 1 minute after, we're raising the price, doubling it, and we are closing the cart for the rest of this year. If you're like, okay, Sean, I really want 2022 to be the best year yet, a year of doubling for you, I would love to continue supporting you. Go to clientswithpurpose.com. My team will put that in the chat, www.clientswithpurpose.com, and you'll be able to get all the information and you'll be able to enroll. So exciting. Actually, I'll just go ahead and put it in because I have it right here. So let me go ahead and just refresh. And then if you have any other questions, I'm going to be live today, tomorrow, what's today? Tuesday? So I'll be live tomorrow. No, today's Wednesday. So I'll be live tomorrow and Friday. You have 2 more days. So let me go ahead and put this in. Go ahead and click that link. You'll be able to get signed up. And I'm so excited to support you. Oh, it was Paige who was with us live. So exciting. All right. I'm Sean Q, your high-ticket sales coach. And I'll see you tomorrow.